Look. So, literally, everyone is brainwashing you, and you need to wake the fuck up. So, you might be asking, what do you mean everyone's brainwashing me? Well, let's ask one question real quick. What is reality? What is reality? Are you actually living in reality? Or are you doing something else? Because chances are you're not living in actual reality. Because actual reality doesn't really exist. The reality is more like a construct. Reality is more like a construct. But more so, it's your thoughts. Your thoughts become reality. Meaning reality, essentially, is what you make of it. So technically, in a sense, yes, you have freedom, in one sense. But the problem with this shit is that these thoughts right here, that you claim to be your thoughts, the ones you have, the goals you have, you claim these are your own, but they are not. They're literally not most of the time. So these thoughts ain't yours, and what you want isn't what you want, and your goals ain't your goals. Now, are you the exception to the rule? You might be. But most people ain't. So, let's put it like this. A 9 to 5. In what world does a kid wake up and go, a 9 to 5 would be my dream life. Like, I want a good career. I want to make a lot of money. I want to make 150k per year. This is my dream. Okay, look, there is no fucking kid on this planet that sits down and says, yeah, 9 to 5. That's the shit. That's what I want to do. I want to trade my life. I want to trade my freedom in servitude to someone else for money. I want my freedom taken away from me. I want my life taken away from me so that I can have some money. This isn't something you want to do naturally. There is no fucking way. So, this isn't actually a real thought that you've had. This thought, this whole 9 to 5 thing is put on you. Okay? This isn't your thought. This 150k per year. First of all, it's an arbitrary number, so it doesn't mean jack shit. Second of all, not only does this shit not mean anything, this isn't you. It's not. Okay, so where does this fucking thought come from? So you get it from where? Adults. Right? Like when you're a kid, you get it from fucking adults. It can be school. It can be TV. News. You get it from all of these places. But again, what some adult says that you should do with your life isn't you. What school says you should do with your life isn't you. What TV says isn't you. None of this shit is you. And these aren't your thoughts. It's what your parents think you should do. It's what this fucking school system thinks you should do. All of this shit is what someone else thinks you should do. Now, let me ask you this. Are you living your life for your sake or for the sake of someone else? Because if you live for someone else, then sure, trader, like you can work 12 hours work 12 hours per day for like $10 per hour. Like if you want to live for someone else, you can do this shit. But chances are that's not what you actually want. I most certainly ain't. So that's just one example of a thought that's been implanted, essentially. Because that's not a natural thought to have. I want to trade my life for someone else. So, because I'm reading this book right now, which is Millionaire Fastlane. Millionaire Fastlane by MJ DeMarco. So I'm reading this book. Now, of course, this book is on wealth and how to actually build wealth. But kind of these concepts apply to other shit as well. And a lot of the book is just about how wrong people's perception of actual wealth is. Because you get these implanted thoughts that for example, a Lambo equals wealth. But a Lambo isn't wealth. Okay? This isn't wealth. And so then you might ask, well, what is true wealth? So in the book, MJ DeMarco pretty much says it's 3 things. So it's relationships. That's for it's relations. It's essentially freedom. Freedom, and it's your health. It's actually these 3 things. It's the relationships you have, freedom, not money, freedom, and it's health. And this is what actual wealth is. So that's for the book. Now, here's the thing though. A lot of this also assumes that you know what you want. Chances are you actually don't. So, again, goes back to this shit. That literally everyone is trying to brainwash you. So, like you get constant advertisements. You get those advertisements on shit you should do. Like when you think about it, ads are actually fucking bonkers. Because you're enjoying your day, and then this motherfucker just like walks through your door. Let's say this is your home. Just walks in here and just starts yapping to you like, hey man, you should actually, use it or do this, do that. People are constantly telling you what you should think. Now, of course, I'm making this video, so I'm virtually in the same boat. But I just want you to be aware of that shit. People are constantly telling you what to think. And then you have to ask yourself, well, are people telling you what you should think for your sake? Is it for you? Or if someone's trying to sell you something, are they telling you what to think for their own gain? And chances are, they're doing it for them. Like, they're not doing it for you. They're not sitting there going, Because even if they would help you, like, let's say you buy something from someone, it actually helps you. But if it's them, if it's this guy over here that tells you what you should do, it's still this guy imposing his will upon you, which is what? Which is conquest, essentially, at the end of the day. It's you being conquered. It's what this shit is. So if you listen to advertisers, if you listen to what school tells you, you should do, blindly, mind you, so essentially you'd be sleepwalking. If you listen to what people tell you you should think, like women do this quite a lot, but if you just blindly listen to someone and go, yeah, fine. Like, listen to a teacher tells you, let's say, being rich is bad, people are just fucking greedy, money hungry. Like, one thing is this, and this is kind of an ironic example. So people dog on Trump like a motherfucker. Now, of course, Trump has his policies, his worldview, whatever the fuck. Does some crazy shit sometimes. But if you really wanna, let's say you don't like Trump at all. You actually don't like Trump. And let's say you wanna dethrone Trump. You want to be president. But you listen to the media, listen to everyone, and you think Trump's a fucking retard. And, like, you just hate on Trump all the time. Now, what are the chances that you actually will become president? Like, what are the chances that you right here, you hating on Trump, will be able to actually get into a position where you can beat Trump? Because if all you do is bitch about how the US select someone like Trump, motherfucker, you don't have more political experience than Trump. Okay, you don't have more political experience, you fucking don't. You don't have more money, you don't have more business experience, you haven't lived as much, like... Okay, yeah, maybe you're in better shape, but that's about it. Like, in almost every other category you get trumped by Trump. And so, if that's how you view Trump, you're not ever gonna be in a position to actually beat him. Because you don't wanna be Trump. But the only way to actually beat someone like this is to just dethrone this motherfucker and become president yourself, essentially. And of course, if you're from another country where the fuck it doesn't work like that, but still. Like, so, because you don't become what you don't wanna be. So if you hate money, you can't have it. You just can't. The world doesn't let you have money if you hate money. If money is evil, you can't have money. And people will literally tell you this. People will say dumb shit like money doesn't buy happiness. That's what it doesn't matter if money buys happiness or not. But it certainly gets you freedom. As long as you don't sell your damn soul for it. If you don't sell your soul for money, then of course you get freedom. Okay, but the thing is, like, money doesn't buy happiness. Someone told you that. You didn't actually ever think that money doesn't buy happiness. You never sat there and consciously thought money doesn't buy happiness. So you gotta recognize when someone is trying to force some information to you that actually isn't your own thoughts. If you intellectually yourself sit down, actually think about it and go, okay, you know what, money is evil. Alright, fair enough. That's your own conclusion, you've done it. But don't just let someone tell you shit, and don't just go follow it blindly. People will talk about critical thinking, but at the same time, motherfuckers get stuck in a 9 to 5. So the people who tell you to do critical thinking get stuck in the 9 to 5. They hate on Trump instead of actually doing something about it or changing their own lives. Like, it's actually ridiculous. Now, a lot of bad habits are the consequence of you just listening to some random nonsense and not understanding what you actually want. Because if you knew what you did actually want, and you were able to control yourself, you wouldn't do bad habits. Now, the thing is, this doesn't just apply to bad habits. It goes deeper than that. Because people, let's say people go to festivals. Now, people think going to festivals and shit, people think that's what they want. Now the question is it actually? Because I'm 99.9% sure, people who go to festivals don't consciously know why. This isn't something you do consciously. You don't. It's like it's like smoking weed. like, okay, there is the odd, like, rap artist who says, like, yeah, smoking weed helps me to write, helps me to be creative, whatever the fuck. Sure. But even this is just cope. Okay. So no one consciously will sit there and go, you know what? So I could be productive. I could do what I really want to do, which might be, I don't know, travel. It might be, but literally just enjoy a cup of coffee on the porch. But you get drawn in by the whims or your fucking desires of what society tells you should do, of what your friends, what the people around you are telling you should do, and you hand over your consciousness, and then you go fucking do this shit. But that's how most people live. As you're getting influenced from literally every single direction, and you're having thoughts implanted. Now the way to protect against, well, let's just walk through, actually. The sources. You got people, like actual people in your surroundings. You got your job, like your co-workers will tell you shit. Your boss will tell you how to think. Okay, you got school. You got literally music, which is why you can't just listen to anything unless you're intentional or what the fuck you're doing. So you got people, you got job, you got school, you got your fucking, well, people account for a lot of this shit. You got ads. You got, I mean, these are essentially the main things. Well, literally, you're constantly just getting some outside source telling you how you should think. And like, the news is a prime example. You got the way people talk about Tate. Yeah, Tate's arrested, bruv. Doesn't matter. Doesn't fucking matter. Like, there's new news articles about Tate, and it's gonna write misogynist. They don't want you to have your own opinion. You think a news organization that uses words like misogynist, do you think that news organization wants you to have your own opinion? If you're reading an article and it says something about someone being ruthless, now of course that might be actually accurate. But also it might just be that people are trying to tell you how to think. Now so the way to protect against this is to take the outside sources. And you at least want to do this for a moment, just so that you actually become aware of your own fucking values, because most people just don't know. Like, I'm pretty much pushing for a dopamine detox right now, but too long ago I was watching fucking Fast and Furious. And so I'm watching that shit, and all of a sudden I start to think, you know what, I actually like driving. But this thing right here, like, of course this inspired this thought that, hey man, driving's dope, but this wasn't my thought. This wasn't me. It was this. It was that movie. And you gotta be able to distinguish these things. Like, I've meditated enough, I've been on a dopamine detox enough to where I actually know that, okay, this isn't my own thought, this is something else. Like, I know where this thought came from. That's pretty damn obvious. But hadn't I gone down this path, I wouldn't have had this thought either. Had I stayed on, like, purely, like, 100% on a dopamine detox, none of this shit would have happened. So that's something you gotta understand. So the way to actually protect yourself from just being pushed around like a fucking ragdoll is to cut as much of the outside sources out as you can. This doesn't mean you can't talk to people. This doesn't mean that you can't be social, it doesn't. But it mainly means stuff like entertainment. It's mainly stuff like entertainment that you wanna cut out. It's fucking social media. Because, I mean, social media is literally just people telling you shit. And like 99.999% of the shit that people are telling you on social media doesn't benefit you for jack shit. Okay, there is certain people you can listen to. So let's take someone like, like there's certain courses that help you. There's someone like Hamza. This shit's actually valuable. What dates, setup points has to be valuable, but you wanna cut out as much of the nonsense, of the noise as you can. And so the way I do it personally is this. So, meditate, number one, because this is gonna just make you aware of your own thoughts. And just being aware of your thoughts and being able to focus back on the breath will translate to every other aspect of your life. So that when you're working, you realize, oh shit, that isn't my thought, okay. And you keep going. And you actually start to understand that you ain't your thoughts, which is a bit of a deeper concept that I won't go into right now. But this means a shit ton in the sense that a thought you get about, hey, like let's say you're a smoker, a thought you get about wanting to smoke might actually not be you, it might not actually be what you want. And meditation will help you to understand that better. So meditation is number one. It's gonna allow you to reclaim your mind. Now number two is the dopamine detox. And the way I specifically do it is a couple of things. So I got one playlist on Spotify. That's literally for working out. That's virtually the only thing I use it for. Okay, that's gonna limit music. So Spotify is number one. The other thing I do is I do books. And then I do courses. Because when you're reading something, you have to, well, with actually both, okay? And this is kind of the main aspect of this. If you have one playlist, you're gonna be intentional with the playlist. And it's for working out, so you're gonna choose that type of music. And what happens with the books and with the courses is, again, you gotta be intentional. You gotta be intentional. Both of these, mind you, cost money. But because you're being intentional, you're not getting information. Like, you're not sabotaging yourself. Really. Like, unless you're really into fiction and you just use fiction to procrastinate. But if you're watching this, that ain't gonna happen. So, because you do books, courses, and then have one playlist on Spotify, you're always intentional about the information you consume. So you don't sabotage yourself. So if you read a book, let's say The Millionaire Fastlane, you're being intentional and you're consuming information that you, yourself, have decided that would be beneficial. Now you might say, but what if I see ads? What if I buy a course because I hear that it's good? Well, because this won't happen. Because you're not scrolling, you're not on social media, so this quite literally can't happen. Because there is no place someone can tell you this. Now, of course, real life, but that's about it. And so, intentionality with consuming content is massively important. So that because at the end of the day, really what we're aiming for is that you decide the path. Okay? You get to decide your own path. Not fucking Trump. Not the social media. Not the fucking news. Not other people. God damn, my hand already. But look, you want you to decide the path, and the only way you're gonna do this if you're intentional about what content you consume and about what content you allow into your life, and you want to protect yourself from having constant outside influence trying to push you in one direction or another. And so that's why you need to get the fuck on a dopamine detox and stop letting people push you around. Right. That's all I got for you today. I'll catch you in the next one.